there, I'm Amy Murray from Teaching Exceptional Kinders, and today I'm here to chat about morning tubs that work in kindergarten. So if you're like me, the first few years of kindergarten, I was doing morning worksheets, busy work, because that's what other teachers had told me they did, and that's what I should do, and so I did. And I eventually got into the groove of things, and I was like, this is not beneficial. It's not beneficial to them. It's not really beneficial to me. And it's just busy work. And what are we doing here? So I rethought things. The other thing I really was cognizant of is that I wanted some intentional play built into our day. And I didn't have a lot of time because we were a half-day program. And so we didn't have time for like free choice centers at the end of the day or other things. And some days we didn't even really have time for a legit recess. So I needed a way to build play into our day in a purposeful way. So morning tubs were born. Now, I also used early finisher tubs, which were different than morning work tubs. Our morning work tubs, you can see over my shoulder here, some of the materials we used for those. They were free play times. So they were building or constructing or STEM or STEAM, different things that they were doing, but there was no like activity mat or thing that they had to complete. There was no specific skill that they needed to be working on. Because instead, they were working on problem solving, sharing, working together, getting along socially with peers, and all of those things that go into purposeful play rather than a specific academic skill. And you'll find, I'm sure, in your classes that those are the skills they are lacking the most, is the socialization, the appropriate social skills and things like that they don't really get a chance to practice in a non-structured way. I say structured because morning tubs were structured, except that it wasn't a specific schedule. So let me show you what they look like in our kindergarten classroom. Let me preface this by telling you a little bit about how my classroom was set up. I told you we had half-day programs. So we had an average of like 20 to 22 kids in a class. Sometimes a lot more, sometimes as few as 16, but you get the idea. So kids sat at tables in groups of 4 or 5 students at each table. And the tubs would rotate from table to table. And that's why each bin had a different color at the top. Now, when students came in for morning work, they had 3 choices for their morning work. They could work together with their table mates in one of the tubs, the tub that was assigned to their table. They could read a book, or they could draw. I always had scratch paper, like, your extra copies and things I put back in a drawer in the back of the room. And they were allowed to use markers during that time, which was not something they kept in their toolkits. And so that was exciting too. So they did have different options in case this wasn't their jam, or they would prefer to do something quiet by themselves. That was okay too. But they worked at their tables. If they chose to do one of these tubs, they would have to work together with the students at their tables. And I said they rotated, so each day they would go in a circle, and you learn quickly who the first kids in your classroom are, or maybe they all come in at once, and it could be someone's job to just make sure the tubs are at the right table. They will remember, even if you forget. One of the questions I'm asked most often about morning tubs are, what bins do I use? What do I keep these materials in? Well, I will show you what bins I use, but I want to caution you that you don't need to go out and buy all new bins for this. You can use Ziploc bags with a slider on top that you can get for $5 for a box of 40 of them, and they will work just fine. You do not need fancy bins. I use these guys. They're $3 in the Target dollar spot at back to school time. You can also get them at Michael's and different places like that. Lakeshore has more expensive versions. I use these for our early finisher tubs, but they totally could work for morning tubs. I just like my morning tub materials to have a lid that latches, and these do not. But that's an option, and a less expensive option. For me, I found these bins at Michael's a few years ago. They come 4 to a pack. You can see the other colors over my shoulder here. And they have latching lids. That can be a little bit tricky for kindergartners, but they work it and they get easier as they use them. So these were at Michael's, and they're great for the bigger, bulkier things. And I love these Sterilite bins. I got them on Amazon. I will link them for you in case you want to check them out. They're perfect for small things. I use these for pens on my desk and in my cabinets and stuff like that, but they're also perfect because they latch, and so nothing will spill. So those are great options, but like I said, don't run out and buy new things. You can use simple things that you already have, or just disposable Ziploc bags will work just fine. Now for the fun part, what's inside the bins. Okay, one of my students' absolute favorites are these connecting cubes, or snap cubes, or Unifix cubes, or whatever it is you call them. They love to build with them. They're super simple. You probably have them in your classroom, even if you're inheriting a classroom. Likely some teacher has left a bunch of these behind. The only problem with these is different brands may not stick to different brands, but they still like them. So they can make patterns with these. They can build letters with these. You know, like there's all different possibilities. They can make towers. They can make all sorts of things with these, and they can work together to do it. They can see who makes the highest. All different things happen with these simple little cubes that you probably already have a lot of, or someone in your school does that they're not using. So that is one standard. Another are these Legos. Oh, you can see one of my kids, my own kids, has Nemo in there with these Legos. But these Legos are just Target brand. I got them in the dollar spot one year. But Legos, building blocks, if you ask parents if they have spares sitting around at home or things they're looking to get rid of, they probably do. That's an easy thing to get donated. Yard sales are a great place to find them. You might have some from when you were a kid, but these are just fairly inexpensive Target brand, and they were always a hit because they had, different colors than they're used to. Legos are another fun one that they used to build. These next two that I'm going to show you are a little bit more expensive. They came from Lakeshore, and I got them using Donors Choose grants when I had them in the classroom, and then I bought my own for home because my kids loved them too. So I do really like them, and they are good quality. So these guys are fun. They are, I don't even know what they're called. I'll drop a link at the bottom of this video. But you see they have the 2 circles, and then you use those to go into the squares. And so they're similar to the Unifix or the connecting cubes, but a little bit different, and they have different shapes included too. There's triangles, so they can build all different kinds of things. There's the triangle with these too. They are a lot of fun and something that they might not be used to using or building with, so that keeps them entertained as well. The other box here are squibs. Squibs are awesome. They're these little suction cups at the end, and they stick on desktops and all kinds of things on the walls, and they stick to each other, so they just suction together like that, and then they can build. The possibilities, honestly, are endless with these guys, and they just stick and can make letters and all sorts of things with these as well. The only problem with squibs when you're using them for morning tubs in this way is that there aren't a lot of them. The other things I showed you, there's plenty to go around and to share, but squibs sometimes, because they're bigger, you can see, are harder to share. So they do have to work more together. I save them for a little bit later in the school year when I know that we've established those routines. Just something to keep in mind. Okay. Also, these little hashtag blocks fit nicely in the smaller containers from Target. Super fun. You can make flat words, a lot of kids will build their names with them. You can make little buildings and all different things, just like with Legos. Again, endless possibilities, and I think a tube of them is like $3 at Target. in the dollar spot a couple times a year. You can get them around Christmas time. You can get them sometimes at back to school time. You can spend a ton on them if you buy them on Amazon. I wouldn't suggest it. I'm not even going to leave a link for them on Amazon. Find them on Target. Ask friends to look for them for you on Target or at Target. These also came from Target, but brain flakes. I couldn't find my big ones at home. I'm not sure where I left them. But these guys are super fun. They go into each other. And my brain flakes are a little bit bigger. I'll have to look. They're probably in my kids' playroom. And I will link them on Amazon because they were less than $20. Maybe even closer to $10 for a whole huge tub of them. And the kids love them. And so these guys, you can build all kinds of things with those. And again, these little ones were from the Dollar Tree, and they're great for fine motor. They're great for building, and they can build together. They're a great solution for a morning tub. So most of these were either free or came from the Dollar Tree. Another great solution are pattern blocks like these. They're super fun. And if you get the foam ones, they're super quiet. They can build different pictures and things with those. There's all different kinds of things. Lincoln logs are great. The possibilities are really endless. Any kind of building supply, STEM sort of thing. Gears are fun. We had those in the classroom. I'll leave a list of fun, engaging morning work tub ideas down below, and you can check them out. That way you have some ideas to get you started. The last thing I get asked a lot about morning tubs are, what if you have students who just can't handle it? Students with behaviors, students who might destroy instead of build, students who are mean to other students. You're going to have to handle that on a case-by-case basis. I do have the smaller tubs though, and sometimes I would have extra tubs available for individual students who needed to start the day on their own. So like these little ones are a great solution for that, or taking some of the, connecting cubes and putting them in their own container or things like that. Now, if it's a chronic issue and it's a student who is doing it for attention, or there's all different reasons that this might be a problem, I didn't always give them very preferred items in their individual boxes until they showed me that they could handle it, and then we reintroduce them to their group. So there are different ways that you can handle that to make sure everyone's acting appropriately during morning tub time. That's what we did for morning tubs in kindergarten. I hope that you got some ideas and things to try in your own kindergarten classroom. If you need to reach out for any reason, you can get me at amy@teachingexceptionalkinders.com. That's my email. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram at teachingexceptionalkinders is our handle there. And I hope that morning tubs makes a positive impact in your classroom this year. Until next time, have an exceptional day.